Starting today, you can create your own success. And guess what? You know how you have your first success? Experience. You got to get out and swing the bat. You got to swing the club. Take a risk. Go for it. Make it happen. You know, we only live once in this precious thing called life. There ain't no mulligans. There ain't no do-overs, right? So if you ain't living your dreams and your passion and going for your purpose, I'd suggest taking a deeper look at your life, because I think too many people right now think that their timeline in their life is forever and it's just infinite. A lot of you probably have lost some loved ones way too early. I just lost a friend not that long ago. He's 40 years old, and it was like out of nowhere. And you realize how important life is, and that if you want a success, go out and take it. Go out and make it happen, okay? And then the law of process, the last law that we're going to discuss. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. So when we're talking about leadership, really there's 5 phases. And I like to use the analogy of like a bike. Like remember when you're like 4 or 5 and you're staring at your first bicycle? Does anybody remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember those days, right? You're looking at that, you're like, man, this is an interesting piece of metal, right? With a couple tires on it, maybe a basket. And you're like, I don't know what to do with that, but I don't know what I don't know. I don't know really what it is. I don't know how to ride this, but I know it's there, and I know that other kids on the block are riding this thing with 2 tires, and maybe I should know more about it. Leadership, I don't know what I don't know. Maybe some of you are right there right now with leadership. I don't know what I don't know. Scott, tell me more. This is the first leadership conversation I've ever heard about. Some of you said you never even read John Maxwell's books, or maybe you've never read any leadership books. Well, maybe you're in phase 1. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know the importance of leadership in my life, in my business. Phase 2, I know that I need to know. So I'm staring at that bike, and I'm thinking, you know what? I know that I need to get on this thing, because everybody else is having fun around the block, and I know I need to get on it, just not sure yet how. Same thing with leadership. I know that I need to know. Now you start to become more aware. I know that I need to know more about this, because I just heard this guy, Scott, talk about the importance of leadership in business and in your personal lives, and how much more of an effect it can have on you. But you know what? I know that I need to know it, but I'm just not sure how yet. Phase 3, I know what I don't know. What is your plan for growth? I know what I don't know. Back to the bike. I know that I don't know how to ride it, but you know what? I'm going to get on it. So you get on it, you fall down. Remember those days? Right? What do? Do you stop? You keep back on the bike. And what happens next? You get on, what happens next? Fall down again. But do you stop? Nuh-uh. I know what I don't know. Now you're starting to become more aware. I know that I don't know more about how to become more effective in communication, how to cross-collaborate with my teams, how to grow an organization around leadership. Does that make sense? Phase 4, now it's starting to flow a little bit. I know when I grow and it starts to show. You get on the bike, and for the first time, your dad lets go of the seat, right? And he's going pedal, and you're like, yeah, Dad. He's like, no, face forward. Don't look back at me. And you keep going around the circle, and you almost fall down, but you're riding, right? It's the exact same thing with leadership. You start to talk differently now. You're showing up differently. You got your chin up, your shoulders back. You're saying things, you're like, did I just say that? Wow. And things start flowing in your life a lot easier than it did before this all happened. And then last, phase 5, I like to call the Yoda phase, right? You're just like the Jedi. You're just like the Jedi. I simply go because of what I know. Now you're on the bike, you got your hands in the air, right? You're doing like wheelies, and it's no big deal, and all this other. Same thing with leadership. Now you're not even playing small anymore. You're knowing that whatever it is I put my mind to, it's going to happen. The verbiage out of the language is powerful out of your mouth. You're attracting people in your life that you never thought in a million years you're going to attract. You're growing your business from 100 million in assets to 500 million in assets. All those things start to happen. But you know what? It starts with phase 1. I don't know what I don't know. And that's why we're here today. So when it comes to the law of the process, what are you doing right now to build yourself into a great leader? Right now, remember we talked about who here is a leader? Everybody, right? How are you building yourself up? What are you doing? What books are you reading right now? See, the one thing I realized in my life that if I was going to walk the walk, I had also read a lot of books. So I made a conscious effort to read one book a week on communications, on leadership, on self-development, all those things. I used to read a book a year. But then I said, I'm going to read a book a month. And then one of my mentors said, try a book a week. All right. It's 20, 30 pages a night before I go to bed. It's a habit. I created a new habit, right? What seminars are you enrolling in? If you don't think leadership is important, you're missing a huge boat. What seminars are you enrolling in right now? Right? This is huge. This is the law of the process. I like to say the law of the process. Anybody ever here, with a show of hands, ever been to the gym or maybe hired a personal trainer or tried to lose weight? Okay, most of you? Okay. Does anybody here ever hire a personal trainer? Okay. So you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So those of you that have experienced this before, try to lose weight or firm up or join the gym or whatever, you know it's a process. And what happens is, as soon as you start getting into it, right, it kind of goes something like this. You buy the new outfit, you hire the trainer, and you go into the gym, you're like scared as crap, right? You're like, I don't even know what those machines do. But I know other people are on them, but you're kind of like shying away from them because you don't have a clue of what you're doing. But then the personal trainer puts you through a workout and you're sweating bullets, right? But then you come home and you're like sore and you can't even lift your arm to reach something in the cupboard, right? You're like, does this thing really work? I don't know, maybe I should quit. But then you're like, I know I need to fit into that dress. I know I need to drop those 20 pounds. I know it. So you show up again. The next time you show up, it's not as hard, right? You're kind of getting into the flow a little bit. But then he says, you know what? Just because you go to the gym, that's half of the equation. Guess what the other half is? You got to eat right. Wait a second. You mean to tell me I got to go in my cupboard and rip out all the Twinkies and the potato chips and all this other crap? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. If you said so. I have to buy stuff called kale and Swiss chard and all these other things. What? It doesn't even taste good. But wait, remember that 20 pounds I got to lose? I got to fit in that dress? Okay, I'll do it. So as things progress, 30 days go by, you don't really see a lot, right? But you're like, I know it's supposed to work. Everybody else is making it work. I need to lose those 20 pounds. I want that result. Maybe 40 days go by, nothing. But that 45th or that 50th day, you walk out of the shower, right? You walk out of the shower, what happens? Bam! Damn! You're like, I look good, right? I look good. I look good. I'm looking good, right? Yes or no? Right. All right. So what happened? You forgot all about the hardship, the sweat and bullets, the kale and the Swiss chard and all the other stuff you had to eat. You forgot about the 6 a.m. workouts, the runs and everything else. You forget about all that. Why? Because you like what you see. You fit into those jeans, you fit into that dress. You forget about all the hardship, all the training. Take a guess what's exactly like that. Leadership. If you think you're going to, crack a book or read maybe 2 paragraphs or 2 chapters and you're going to be a leader, it's not going to happen. It's a repetition thing. It's a muscle. It's a muscle you build every single day. You look back in 90 days or 60 days, you look back and you say, I don't even know who that person was. I don't even recognize that person. You're popping at such a higher frequency that the law of vibration kicks in and you're starting to do, see, and experience things you never even thought was possible. Just like I told you with my book. Never thought that was ever going to happen. But it has, only because I developed my mind not once, not twice, but daily, every single day. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So why will companies spend millions and millions of dollars attracting and recruiting talented people, yet they're spending very little on retention and growing leaders? Think about that. Millions of dollars are spent on college campuses, recruiting, right? All these other forums that you can be part of to recruit these unbelievably talented people. Then they come here, then what? Where's the growth? This is huge. This is a huge mistake in our society today. And I think companies are starting to realize this in a huge way. All right, we're doing great. We're almost done. The secret of our success is discovered in our daily agenda. We just talked about it. The secret of our success is discovered in our daily agenda. And being, what does this word say? Intentional in becoming better leaders. What does intentional mean? Anybody want to guess? What's that?
Thought-
I didn't hear you.
Thoughtful.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Deliberate.
Deliberate. Exactly the word. On purpose. Deliberate. That's the best word you can use for it. Deliberate, right? It's like going to the gym. You want to lose those pounds, get into those jeans, fit into that dress. You're going to be deliberate about your workout. You're going to be deliberate about not wanting to put that ho-ho or that cupcake in your mouth and put an apple in your mouth instead, because you know what you want the outcome is. See, it all depends on what you want the outcome to be. Do you want the outcome to be success? More money, more happy, more purpose in your life? Increase the company's awareness, do whatever you're trying to do? That's how you do it, right here. We got a hand up. Yes, ma'am.
Question. And so, to your point about companies spending small amounts of dollars on leadership development and growth, what's the advice to people, and how do you deal with that? Because that's a reality.
Uh-huh.
So, what do you advise us to do if there isn't a lot of dollars around that at the moment?
Right.
What do you suggest?
Fun you asked that. I was going to talk to you about that afterwards. There's so many ways to do it, right? Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. You might not believe this, maybe you will. I believe that you put a priority on important things. And to be very blunt, I think that a lot of times when individuals, when organizations, when whoever says, I don't have the fill in the blank, I think that's a little bit of an excuse. I think that there's a way you prioritize things in life that are important to you. For example, I go back to the working out or losing weight. Who likes to get up at 6 in the morning, especially in the winter, to go running? Nobody. Nobody. But what do? You want to lose weight, your cholesterol is high, your doctor says your blood pressure, all those things, guess what you do? You went from taking it from maybe a 6 or a 7 to making it a 1 on your priority list. Why? Because my doctor said if I don't get off my butt, out of the bed, and work out, my arteries are getting clogged. I might die. Guess what? 7 to a 1, like that. Your priorities kick in. You want to be more effective leaders, right? You make it a priority. You make it a priority. You absolutely make it a priority. There's books you can get for $15. You can read. Right away, bang, right off the bat. Go buy a $15 book. Go buy the 21 Laws of Leadership today.
So is it that companies are not spending that money because they feel like, okay, we've hired an amazing group of leaders here, that we expect that they're going to invest in their own leadership? Is that what's happening with companies, why they're not investing as great of dollars there as they do in their search for these leaders?
Right. So I think it's starting to change. I think that people are starting to realize if we're going to keep these great people and they're not going to go to the competition, we need to take some of those marketing dollars and invest in professional development. That's what I think is happening. I think that companies are starting to realize that if you want to retain great people, it's so much more than the base salary. It just is. It's so much more than the money. I mean, those of you that obviously you work here, maybe you worked in other organizations. I've worked in other organizations where, yeah, I was making good money, but the culture was terrible. I didn't even really want to come to work. My boss was, I hate to say, I didn't respect my boss. Didn't matter what I made. Conversely, I was making less money. The environment was more fun. The boss was amazing. She was in the trenches with us saying, how can we make this happen versus you do this, you do that, you do this, pointing fingers rather than getting in the trenches and helping us. I think to answer your question, you're starting to see a change. And I think it becomes intentional about making leadership a priority. And there's so many different ways to do that now. Again, with the John Maxwell team, that's why this John Maxwell team started 3.5 years ago, not 13 years ago. Our team that's growing worldwide right now, there are people in other countries, in the United States specifically as well, that are doing exactly what I'm doing in organizations around the world right now. Spreading the word, spreading the leadership word. So I think you're seeing a change and a shift. Because companies are saying, it's one thing we brought that person in, or those people in, how do we keep them? So, I just want to leave you with one quote and we're done. Men make history, not the other way around. In periods when there is no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. Former President Harry S. Truman. So, did you all get some great content? Right? Did you learn a lot? Honestly, good. Was this information helpful? Yes.
Inspirational.
Good.
I think for me.
Good. Yeah. It's the goal for me today was to come to you guys and obviously pour value and pour information, maybe make you start thinking about things a little bit differently. I know for me that leadership was always this, like I said before, this big word, and I wasn't a leader because I wasn't the boss, or I wasn't a manager. I didn't have the title. And as I started to surround myself with other people and other books like this and trainings like this, I started to realize that I'm the creator of my own destiny. I design and create my life, my world, the way I want to have it. It's not the other way around. I think too many people get pushed around by life, and they let life push them around versus taking a stand for their life. And this types of training has made all the difference in me and so many other people that I do trainings around, trainings for. So, I hope you all got a lot. I'm just going to leave you with this. If you can do me a huge favor, I have a huge questionnaire. It's all of one question. So, just take one and pass it around, and then whenever you're done, just give it back to me, if that's cool with you guys. Thank you very much. So that is the end. I really, again, Toy, want to thank you for allowing me to come in and for all of you to be sitting here through this. And hopefully you've learned a lot. You've gained a lot of new perspectives on leadership and what that means and how, really more than anything else, besides the information. See, the information is great, right? They say information is power. I don't believe in that. I believe that applied information is power. You have to apply what you just learned here today. Because otherwise, this is just a seminar or a workshop, and that you don't take anything from it and you don't grow from it. Does that make sense? You have to be able to take these concepts and start applying them in your everyday life.